Two funds can look almost identical, but one could cost you tens of thousands of dollars more over time, not because the market crashed, not because you panic sold, just because you picked the wrong type of fund. And that's one of the easiest ways investors quietly lose money without ever realizing it. Today, I'm going to walk through the 4 main fund types, who they're for, which ones most of us should probably avoid, and a simple framework to choose the right one for you. Once you understand this, investing gets a lot less confusing. First, what is a fund? It's just a pool of money from a bunch of investors that gets invested together. Instead of buying one stock at a time, you're buying a whole basket of investments at once. Think of it like splitting the cost of a giant pizza. On your own, maybe you can afford a slice or two. Together, you get the whole thing. The type of fund you choose affects 4 big things: your fees, your risk, your flexibility, and how much of your return you actually get to keep. Here's the simple mental model for our entire discussion. An index fund is for set-it-and-forget-it core investing. A mutual fund is manager-driven and usually pricier. An ETF is a flexible wrapper, often low cost. And a hedge fund is exclusive, high risk, and high fee. If you just remember that, you're already ahead of most people. Let's start with the one most regular investors should understand first: index funds. An index fund tracks a market index, which is basically a list of investments representing a part of the market. For example, the S&P 500 tracks 500 large U.S. companies. The fund isn't trying to guess winners, it just follows the index. This is called passive investing. There's no manager trying to outsmart the market, no dramatic buy-sell decisions. And that's a huge advantage, because passive funds have very low fees. Here's a mini-myth. Cheap means lower quality. In investing, that's often backwards. With index funds, low cost is one of the biggest reasons they work so well. Every dollar you pay in fees is a dollar that isn't compounding for you. Over decades, that adds up to a painful amount of money. That's why index funds have become the default for so many long-term investors. They're simple, diversified, low cost, and very hard to beat consistently after fees. One quick thing to know: traditional index funds are priced once a day after the market closes. If you place an order at noon, it won't execute instantly like a stock. For long-term investors, this really doesn't matter. If you're building wealth over 30 years, your order filling at 4 p.m. instead of 1 p.m. is not life-changing. An index fund is best for hands-off, long-term investors who want broad diversification and low fees. Next up, mutual funds. This is where people get confused because they look similar to index funds. Money is pooled, you own a basket of investments, but here's the big difference. Most mutual funds are actively managed. That means a fund manager is deciding what to buy and sell, trying to beat the market. On paper, that sounds great. Who wouldn't want a professional trying to get them better returns? The problem is, active management means higher fees. And here's another mini-myth. If a fund is more expensive, it must be better. Nope. Sometimes you're paying for expertise. Other times you're just paying for branding and a manager who may still underperform a boring index fund. That's the uncomfortable truth. Many actively managed mutual funds do not beat their benchmark over the long run, especially after you factor in their higher fees. That doesn't mean all mutual funds are useless. They can make sense in certain situations, like in a 401k plan that mainly offers mutual funds, or perhaps you want access to a niche strategy that isn't available in a basic index product. So the real question isn't, are mutual funds bad? It's, is this mutual fund doing something useful enough to justify the extra cost? You need to check the expense ratio and the long-term track record. If your workplace plan offers mostly mutual funds, the smart move is usually to find the lowest cost, broadest one available. They're best for people who need niche exposure or are limited to workplace options, but beginners should be careful not to assume active automatically means better. Now let's talk about ETFs, or exchange-traded funds. An ETF is a fund that trades on an exchange, just like a stock. You can buy and sell it all day at market prices. And this is where the confusion starts. A lot of people think ETFs are a completely different category from index funds, but an ETF is often just a wrapper. You can have an ETF that tracks the S&P 500, and you can have an index fund that tracks the S&P 500. They give you very similar exposure, just in a different structure. An ETF gives you the diversification of a fund with the trading flexibility of a stock, and many ETFs are very low cost, which is why they're so popular. But this brings us to a big myth. Because ETFs trade all day, you should trade them all day. Absolutely not. That flexibility is useful, but it also creates temptation. For long-term investors, ETFs work best when used in a boring, disciplined way. In investing, boring is often profitable. So, if you invest through a brokerage account and want diversification, low costs, and the ability to buy during market hours, an ETF can be a very strong fit. It's best for investors who want low-cost diversification with trading flexibility. But be careful if you tend to get emotional and trade too much. Finally, the one that's least relevant for most of us, hedge funds. A hedge fund is a private investment pool for wealthy individuals or institutions. They use aggressive strategies, leverage, short selling, derivatives. Hedge funds are not built for the average investor. They have high minimums, limited access, and very high fees, often called 2 and 20, a 2% management fee plus 20% of the profits. This means they have to perform incredibly well just to justify the cost. The myth here is hedge funds are automatically smarter investments. Not at all. Some do well, but many underwhelm after fees. For most everyday investors, hedge funds are a distraction. You're better off focusing on saving more, investing consistently, and keeping costs low. So, how do you actually choose? Here's the easiest framework. If you want simple, long-term, hands-off investing, start with index funds. If you want similar low-cost exposure but with more trading flexibility, look at ETFs. If you're inside a 401k or need a niche strategy, a mutual fund might make sense, but check the fees carefully. And if you're a beginner looking at hedge funds, you're probably solving the wrong problem. And that's the real lesson here. The most expensive investing mistakes are usually not dramatic. They're quiet. A little too much in fees, a little too much complexity, a little too much confidence in something you don't fully understand. That's how people lose money while thinking they're doing everything right. Your portfolio does not need to be exciting. It needs to be effective. And most of the time, that means choosing the fund that gives you broad exposure, low costs, and a structure you can actually stick with. Because the best fund is not the one that sounds smartest. It's the one that helps you stay invested for the long run.